Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Go Native Farms. And today we're going to take a look at this Hubbard squash. This thing really spreads out. I'm thinking this is way over 20 feet in total length, but starts there, then it goes in a little farther, and you can see we have a couple pretty good sized squash on there. We got one there, we got a big one right there as well, and then it keeps going and going, and there's two more squash, one right there, another one coming on right there, one more back there, and one more there. So this thing is huge. So love the Hubbard squash. They do vine out, so you're going to need some room. If they're doing well, they vine out. This one had a little extra fertilizer that I put into the soil, and I took a little extra care on this one, and it really took off. So let's take a look. We'll look at some other ones that we have over here too. On this row, they didn't spread out quite as much over here, but we do have a good amount. There's a Hubbard squash there, and there's one there. And this whole row was Hubbard squash going all the way down, and we did get about one or two on each plant. You can see we got one right there, got a couple over here. Nice looking Hubbard squash. And let's come over here. A couple of the plants died when the stink bugs moved in. We've got like 3 on this plant. 1, 2, 3, 4 actually. 4 on that plant. Yeah, they're everywhere. They produce pretty good, but the squash bugs are just horrendous. They have been a little bit of a problem. I can't say horrendous. They've been a problem. I've seen them worse, but I did keep on top of them. And they sometimes, as soon as they showed up on some of the plants, the plant would die, like this plant here. This one was decimated by the squash bugs. They just came in, and then as soon as they bit it, the whole plant seemed to die and wither right after that. And there wasn't even a lot of squash bugs on there. There's another Hubbard right there. We're getting a little powdery mildew, as you can see. And you can spray that with sulfur or neem oil. And there's a little grasshopper right there. We don't worry too much about those because they're not really problematic out here. And another nice looking Hubbard right there. There's kind of a younger one that I think was attacked by the squash bugs, and I think that's why it's looking all weird like that. And another Hubbard there. What do we got? Nice looking Hubbard out here. You can kind of see how big they are. They can get a lot bigger than this, but this soil was rushed a little bit with getting the nutrients tilled into the ground. So I think they didn't produce quite as big because we didn't have quite the right soil mixture and enough time for them to break down the manure that we tilled into the soil. There's another good looking one right there. Pretty decent size. And this is the last plant. We have like 3 on here. Another good looking Hubbard. One right there. And one more right here. So they're still growing, but we're so tomorrow is September, so they're not going to be producing too much anymore. Overall, I'm glad I planted these. They were a little bit of a struggle with the squash bugs, and that is something that you have to contend with in most places when you're growing squash, unless you have yourself a nice greenhouse. And if you have a nice greenhouse, then keep the door shut so they don't get in, and have some small screen on there so they don't get in. But once those squash bugs get in, it can be a disaster. So thank you guys very much for tuning in. That was our Navajo Hubbard Squash update. Kind of show you a few more as we're heading out here. And some of these, I'm sure they're ready where I could pick them and eat them now. I'm just leaving them on extra long, so the seeds will produce nice and be viable. And that is that. Once again, thank you for tuning in to Go Native Farms. And remember to grow yourself some Native American fruits and vegetables and squash and corn and beans, and keep these heritage varieties alive. Take care.